Well, good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Ellithorpe with Tustin Longevity Center here in Tustin, Southern California. And we do this every week, 6 o'clock on the YouTube channel, and it's called Ask the Doctor. And what we do is we try to make available to everyone the opportunity to ask some questions regarding anything you have of concern in health. It's meant for education. It's not for anyone specific. But what we try and do is talk about popular questions and concerns. And then we will do my best as a general practitioner, family doctor, with our 8 other healthcare providers. Here we try and do a preventative protocol, functional medicine. We've been doing this here 23 years, and I've been doing this about 42 years. And so we take questions in your chat. If you're on YouTube, you can type in, if you're a member on YouTube, and type in your question. We'll try and defer to the live questions and those who are watching. But then we also have the email questions. If you are on our email list, you can go to tlcdoctors.com, and then there you can see, send us your email and get on our email list for broadcasting the upcoming videos and information. So are you ready for Christmas? That's 1 week away, and so we are all busy, I know, and active, but we want to stay healthy, and we want to be at our best health-wise to be of service to everyone else. So with that, let's go ahead and begin. We have some questions in the live chat already, and that is first with Amela. Hi, Amela. Merry Christmas to you. She says, ask the question, the allergy skin prick tests, are they accurate? Well, we do them here, and we consider them accurate. It's as accurate as the solution is that is given to hold the correct antigen that is just put into the dermis of the skin to see if your body reacts to it in an immediate IgE, okay, not IgG, but IgE, immediate reactions, allergies, and responses are what the skin prick test goes over. Whereas I often use the food immunoallergy IgG, which represents immunoglobulin G antibodies in your body to foods that have leaked through this membrane of the cell membrane. It's only one cell membrane thick, and then you poke a hole in it, and that's lining your gut. And if you eat the same food over and over and over again, you increase the likelihood of that food antigen leaking through these injuries here, which will make the hole bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you'll get more immune reactions, more gut bloating, more gas, more abdominal discomfort and side effects, loose stools, constipated stools, all those kind of things. Now, does the skin allergy prick test work, and are they accurate? So the answer would be yes. And we would say that it all depends on everyone doing their good job. So if we get good antigens, and there's hundreds of antigens that could be tested, when you think of all the pollens, all the weeds, all the leaves of trees, all the food allergies, all the animal hair, dust, dander, fungus, all these things are put in tiny, tiny solution capsules that we are using to create a very little tiny dermal stick and see if you react to it. So the answer is yes, and it all depends on everyone doing their job and creating the right antigen antibody responses. And so I would trust the test for the most part, yes. Then Amela has another question. Dr. Berg, that's a YouTube doctor. He's a chiropractor, and he talks about taking 4 grams of quercetin daily for allergies. Well, is that too much? Yes. And 4 grams is 4,000 milligrams, and I think that's a large amount. The research studies that I have looked to on quercetin and why quercetin acts like, in a sense, like the ivermectin and the hydroxychloroquine. These are in a class of what are called ionophores. Ionophores help make a bridge that is natural and repairable through a membrane to allow zinc from the outside of the cell to go into the cell. And when it's in the cell, where it normally isn't in any high concentration, it inhibits the ribosomes from replicating viral copies. And therefore, if you have a cold, a viral cold, and you're very low on zinc, you'll have a bad time with your cold because you are nutrient deficient in zinc. So even if you took the quercetin and you don't have the zinc, you may have the ability to go through the membrane there to help inhibit that. But if you don't have enough zinc, it's not going to work. So what are the readings that I have gone by and have seen clinically actually work? I would say anywhere from 400 milligrams or a half of a gram up to 1 gram. So I typically, when I'm on DHIS, it's called our seasonal allergies, that's a orthomolecular product, and I value the quality and service and reliability of orthomolecular for my patients and myself. There's 200 milligrams in each DHIS capsule, and I take 2 minimum every day because I'm seeing patients every day. And now that I've hit my 70s, I'm at an older and weaker state of being. And I need to make sure that I don't succumb to their sneezes or coughs or germs. So that's what I do. I take 400 milligrams, and it has served me throughout the entire time of what was alleged to be a pandemic of this COVID. I personally think it was the flu that was manipulated, but that's my opinion from all the science and stuff, because it didn't have any effect on my thousands of patients here, other than a flu season that we get every year and that I've gone through for 43 to 45 years of my clinical experience. All right, so that is my suggestion, and I think 4 grams is too much. All right, so Elizabeth says on the live chat, any advice for binge eating issues? Well, binge eating is driven very much from a biochemical point of view by carbohydrate impact on the pancreas producing a lot of insulin. And so that insulin is a drive to bring down any sugar, and then that drop in sugar then creates a drop in your energy and mood. And so you physiologically eat more carbs, which will make you shoot out more insulin to bring down the carbohydrates. So the actual mechanics is a catch-22. The more you eat, especially of the starch, carbs, or fruit sugars, the more you'll make the insulin. The more you make the insulin, the more it'll try to bring down the sugars, which will drop your sugar until it's not doing it so well, and then you start building up sugar, and then you get more depressed, and then there's the emotional component to it. There's the dopaminergic response in your brain, so that when you get this taste and even the psychological aspect of anticipating eating something, this will stimulate your brain dopaminergic cells in anticipation, and there'll be this gratification and high, and this can become a addiction type habitual or addicting behavior. So binge eating is usually limited because of the volume of your stomach. So if you're an early binge eater, your stomach will only be about the size of a fist. If you work and work and work it, you can really expand your stomach so that you can eat larger and larger engorgements, and you'll binge more often and longer and more seriously. So what can we do about this? Any advice for binge eating issues? And that is fat. Fat will satiate a person. So if you took some extra virgin olive oil and you took a tablespoon of it, even a teaspoon, that will turn down your drive and hunger. So fat is satiating, and it becomes repulsive to eat if you have your fat in your diet. And then the feedback will be, I'm full, I can't eat anymore. So I would have a tablespoon of olive oil, or you could even carry around a small bottle in your purse. So if you're going to go out to eat or to a party, have a big tablespoon of olive oil a half an hour before, and you will certainly have less cravings. So that would be my simple answer, Elizabeth, for that. And then reading your Bible and realizing we're not here to please ourselves. We were created to be of service to others and to serve our Lord. So if you put these things around and you put them around you like a guard, there's the actual, is it a proverb or a psalm that says, put a guard at my mouth that I don't sin against you? Because if you're a Christian like me, one of our beliefs is that our body is the location for the Holy Spirit to work with and through indwelling us. And so our body is a temple for God. So I take these things for myself literally. I will never say I'm perfect because we're all imperfect and have fallen short, and we will make mistakes over and over. But in general, I try and stay in the Word of God and remind myself I'm not here to please myself, and I am here to bring Him pleasure and to help His wonderful creation. So those are the ways I deal with it, Elizabeth. Then Christina says, hi, Dr. Rita, what can cause a wet sensation on the sole of the foot? Also the glutes, hamstring, calf sore. Could it be the sciatic nerve? Well, yes, that it sounds like you're having what we call paresthesias. Paresthis, paresthesias. This is altered nerve sensation. So whenever there's a impinged nerve or a damage to the sheath lining the nerve, then it could be a pinched sciatic nerve, and very early signs could be these funny tingling, warm feeling, cold feeling sensations. For you, you're describing a wet sensation. So I would see your doctor and address that. But yes, that can be a nerve sheath damage and irritation to it. Jeff says, I am 58. I had a colonoscopy at 50 and 55, and both times they found benign polyps. The doctor advised me more fiber in the diet. What do you recommend, as I am eating low carb? Well, that's a basic knee-jerk response that had been a part of the old doctor training for decades and decades and decades, Jeff. The science and arguments that fiber is the solution is not the solution. Something is irritating the lining of your colon such that it is trying to heal itself. And when it tries to bring in new cells and heal itself at irritation areas, it develops into a polyp. So this is chronic inflammation. And what you want to do is you want to have a lining of the cell membrane. This is a picture of a cell membrane here. And it's a double layer like this of phospholipids. And this is just the layer of one, one side of the cell. The cell would go all the way around like that. And you're made of 50 or 100 trillion cells. So in order to make the cells lining your colon healthier, they need to have the construction materials to repair them, just like you have to have shingles for your roof and paint for your house so it doesn't warp in the sun. So that constant irritation of the ultraviolet light of the sun is irritating and drying up and curling up your shingles. So you have to replace the shingle with the shingle, the paint on the house with the paint. Well, what you replace in a human body for the lining of any cell membrane are fats and proteins, phospholipids. And that's why we say eating a lot of healthy, when I talk about these things, I'm always trying to talk about organic, free range, wild caught, prairie raised animals, beef, poultry, wild caught fish, prairie raised pork, all this kind of stuff is rich in phospholipids that repair the damage in any cell membrane. So that those who eat a richer, healthy, protein, fat, cholesterol-rich diet that have the essential fats, linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid, the only two, that's not EPA and DHA. You have to understand you're being deceived by EPA and DHA. They are not essential. Again, they are not essential because if you have linoleic and alpha-linoleic acid, the only two essential fatty acids that have to go into this membrane to keep it intact, then they can make all the EPA and DHA you need. Now, so for the colon, if you're eating meats or on a carnivore diet, plenty of chicken with the skin on it, roasted, and not this deep fried junk processed food. I'm talking about a healthy roasted chicken, a healthy roasted chuck roast, a healthy roasted piece of salmon or whatever you're going to be making. Then your body can assimilate it and it can repair all these things so you don't grow a polyp there, because the body's going to try and repair injuries to the cell membrane. But if you're not eating this stuff or you're eating junk food, you're going to be in a state, and not even purposely just junk food, just not eating enough healthy proteins and fats will disallow you from healing well. So we make the phospholipid powder, and then I have some somewhat exciting news. Now, you don't count your chickens before they're hatched, or your eggs, or I don't know how that proverb goes. But our Doctor's Great Bars are now finally done, and our very first run, our pilot run for about 1,600 bars was finished this week, or about last week. And so we should get a certificate of analysis, getting that certificate of analysis, and then we'll get them and taste them, make sure they taste the way we had expected. They're made of these rich phospholipids that make this stuff up. That's why we created the bar, because a lot of people just will not eat enough healthy fish, turkey, chicken, beef, and eggs and egg yolks. Now, they're made largely, these bars, from the phospholipids that are in this item here. Let me get this right here. These are the same thing. This is my private label, and this is the commercial label, orthomolecular. They're identical, okay? And this has the phospholipids in it. You take a scoop of this, and then you put it in some warm water, just like you're going to make a baby bottle for a baby to drink. And I usually add orthomolecular's SBI Protect, because it has some extra immunoglobulins to protect the immune system inside your gut from harming these areas as well. And then I had mentioned about linoleic, alpha linoleic acid, the only two essential fats. That's usually what I take, and then we always give a probiotic of some sort. So, again and again, I have my patients come back, and they all, I don't want to ever say all in medicine, but I have never seen such healing in my life with, if you're not going to eat the meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, and eggs, then take a drink of this mixture, putting them all together, the probiotic with the SBI, with the phospholipid powder and some warm water, and drink it once or twice a day, and you'll watch. And they have their gas, their bloating, their diarrhea, their Crohn's, their ulcerative colitis all calm down. It's just fabulous. And I'm so thankful to our Lord for showing this to us so we could create these bars and these powders to help the humanity. All right. And then hopefully that'll help you, Jeff. Amela asked another question. Struggling with histamine intolerance, don't consume any alcohol or sweets, aged foods, even bone broth gives me pressure in my ears. Not sure what diet to follow. Well, then just be a carnivore, Amela. That is the purest thing to do. Do it for 3 to 6 months until the entire system cools down, and see how you do it that way. Jenna says, I am 56 and just had my yearly checkup, and my creatinine was 1.1, and my estimated GFR was 59. What can I do to improve these numbers? Well, number one, they wouldn't concern me. I've been doing this so long. When I was a young doctor in the 1970s, late 1970s, the creatinines on our labs references that were in the normal ranges had a creatinine up to 1.6 or 1.7. So I am not worried about a 1.1. Now, if you were my patient and I knew you personally, I'd be always, every time you saw me, I'm asking you how much water you drink every day. I'm asking if you're keeping your carbohydrates down, because hyperglycemia damages the glomeruli in the kidneys. These delicate membranes are damaged by higher blood sugars. And then I tell people to do EDTA chelation. Dr. Lee is a scientist who has published on end-stage kidney failure, stage 4, 3, 2, and 1. And he was able to show the stopping of the progression of kidney breakdown and failure with EDTA, calcium disodium EDTA chelation IVs. So that's what I would do, live a healthy life. So anyway, Jenna, I don't live in the confines of reference ranges. I use my 42 years of experience, the personal patient-doctor relationship, who you uniquely are. I work on your lifestyle. I do EDTA chelation, and there isn't a single time that I haven't seen these things keep people healthier longer. I've had people with creatinines 5.7, and they've improved. I've gotten them down to a 2 with EDTA chelation and these healthy lifestyles. Remember, your kidneys made up, every cell in your body is made up of this. That's why I bring it up all the time. Healthy fats, healthy proteins. Deborah, my dear sister, hi. Here is the joke for Tuesday. All right, Debbie, my sister, for all us TLC Health Freedom Tribe. What is it? Okay, Tuesday. How does the receptionist in a urology department answer the phone? And it goes, urology office, can you hold? Urology office, can you hold? Very good, Debbie. So if you have bladder problems and you're going to your urologist and you can't hold your pee, especially if you're getting older, if you laugh and joke and you leak a little, and then you go call your urologist, they say, urology, can you hold? All right. Thank you, Debbie. what was last week's joke? That was even funnier. I thought that was really cute. Put up last week's joke if you can remember it. Okay. Joanne says, Amen, Dr. Rita. There you go, Joanne. He is to be glorified. Dennis says, how does refeeding syndrome develop? Refeeding syndrome develop? I'm not sure I know what that means, Dennis. I don't have another computer. I only have this one, so I can't check that. How does refeeding syndrome develop? I don't know. Got me on that one. All right. Amela, what would be upper daily limit for copper supplement? I think 1 milligram, Amela, 1 milligram. Adriana Tamayo. All right. Hello, doctor. Do you recommend taking progesterone the full month with no breaks? Sorry if you have already answered the question in previous sessions. That's fine, Adriana. I personally, at 70, use my progesterone half the month. It's the 1st through the 15th of the month for me. And I use my estradiol every single day. I use it in the cream form, 1 click a day. I apply it to my face. So it helps with the elastin collagen so I don't wrinkle as much. And the progesterone I use also as a cream, and I rub that on the insides of my wrists where my blood vessels are close. And I use 2 clicks to 4 clicks every day, the 1st through the 15th. And that way, somewhere around the 15th, 16th, 17th of every month, if I'm going to menstruate, it'll be a very light day, a light day pad, and very light. And that way I know I'm normal and my uterus is responding normal. Now, is it wrong to use progesterone every single day? No, it's not. If a woman does not want to have any menstrual cycle, that's what she'll choose to do, is to be on it continuously. But if she's a normal woman with a normal uterus, eventually that uterus may build up a little bit to have some breakthrough at time to shed what little buildup of the lining has accumulated. And then everyone gets worried because she's postmenopausal with an unexpected vaginal bleed. And then she has to go through an endometrial biopsy and pelvic ultrasound with a gynecologist to make sure that that is not a cancerous type of bleed. Therefore, I never worry about it, because as long as it's regular and it shows up at the end of my progesterone typically, then I know I created it. It's a normal uterus. It's responding typically. But either way is fine. Carolyn says, have you looked into peptide therapy to regulate immune system regarding autoimmune disease and inflammation? You had mentioned it was something that was of interest. Yes, the answer is I am actively involved in peptide therapy. It is a growing field. These peptides, which are very short strands of amino acids, and there's many combinations of them. You have 22 amino acids. 8 or 9 of them are essential. And so the arrangement of them and the length of the chain, they work as like signaling and helping to stimulate stem cells. That's our understanding. So I'm all in favor of it, and I'm continuing to try and get more and more involved. But once again, the person who stays away from a high carb diet, who exercises regularly, both strength and aerobic, who drinks enough water, takes basic healthy nutrients, vitamin D, a good multi-mineral, a methylated B complex, maybe iodine, and some, the essential fats, linoleic and alpha-linoleic acid. These are the people who, if they eat a rich, healthy protein diet or are more carnivore-like and do not eat late and do intermittent fasting, these are the ones that are going to have a lot of amino acids available from the meat, the fish, the chicken, the turkey, the beef, the eggs, and the eggs yolks to do stimulation and building up of their muscles or their skin or repair nerve tissue, all these wonderful things. So just by default, God doesn't expect us to have to study every single thing as a individual. He just gave us wonderful, healthy foods, not these processed fake foods. So if you're humble in your diet and eating those things, you should have enough. Now, I would say if you're a blood type A, you would need orthodigestive enzyme. And if you're over 55, you probably need orthodigestive enzyme, which I just took before I came on tonight because I had finished my dinner. And so sometimes I pause because I feel like I don't want to burp on live YouTube town. All right, but that's an important field of interest, but it just is confirming that we should be eating the healthy protein diets, rich in the healthy natural fats. Okay, Garden Fairy. Hi, Garden Fairy. Is it likely an IV vitamin C infusion could help me recover faster from a cold or just increase my oral intake? I take 1 gram daily and I need to increase quercetin also. It's a 30-minute drive for me. Garden Fairy, indeed, I would say a high dose vitamin C, there's no way you could build up your vitamin C level. It's antiviral, it's antioxidant, it's toxin removing impact with 1 gram versus getting right into your blood with 25 grams. So I would hands down, yes, it's much, much better. Debbie says, hi, Dr. Rita. Hello, Debbie. Do you know of any good natural oil or moisturizer for the face that works well with oily skin and does not cause breakouts? Thank you for all your great help. Well, Debbie, you may not be happy with my answer because I'm going to say I prefer to do, for oily skin of the face, to do nothing. Meaning I wouldn't shower a lot. I wouldn't get soap on my face. God made natural oils in our skin to seal and create a beautiful keratin layer over us to defend us and to keep our moisture in. Now, that oil can be excessive if we have internal stressors in our body, higher carbs, not enough water, not enough exercise. If there's a lot of irritants on our skin, the body tends to secrete out to try and displace it away from us. The only thing I would use is just let your try and stay out of a soapy shower as much as you can, and just sponge bathe your armpits and groin and feet. And there's the Argentyn Silver spray that you can spray to keep any bacterial count down. There is no one oil that I consider a good moisturizer other than the one that is designed for the human body, and that's linoleic alpha-linolenic acid, which is the liquid form. I don't have a bottle here. I don't think. I'm looking over here. I'm looking over there. Yeah, I don't see it. But it's the oil form of this, and if I moisturize with it, I use that personally. If I have an itchy area on my skin, and in the winter, we all get itchier and drier and everything. And so I try and use only the oils and the natural things we're made of. So Debbie, hopefully that's some help. Dennis says refeeding syndrome is when the sudden increase in nutrients causes an electrolyte imbalance in the body, leading to cardiac arrest. Refeeding syndrome is when the sudden increase in nutrients causes an electrolyte imbalance in the body, leading to cardiac arrest. Well, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and indeed, taking in nutrients means taking in potassium and sodium and chloride and magnesium and so forth. And the delicate response from outside to inside a cell membrane is regulated by receptors very aggressively within the cell membrane. So there isn't a rush of sodium or calcium out either way. For if that rush occurs, it will depolarize or shut the electricity off and the cell will die. It'll stop having electrochemical impulses. And so, but I don't know the background of refeeding syndrome when a sudden increase in nutrients causes an electrolyte imbalance. Well, one of the things, what we do in our nutrient IV is we do osmolality, and we're very precise in the nutrients that we give and the rate at which we give them, so that the nutrients that go in on an intravenous feed are very stabilized and monitored. That's why we have us as doctors and our nurses there. Extremely safe. I've been around this for, I think I was 7 years old when I saw my grandfather get chelated, and I'm 70 now, so 63 years. So in 63 years, with millions of them being done every year in all these rehydration rooms, it's very safe with the nutrients we give. But there has to be some abnormal situation in refeeding feeding syndrome. I am going to have to make a note to myself because you've tweaked my inquisitive brain on refeeding syndrome and cardiac arrest. Okay. Well, hopefully I'll be more informed next time about exactly what you're talking about, Dennis. Okay. And then, after a prolonged fast. I see. So he's saying in the situation after a prolonged fast. Now, some people would say a prolonged fast is they can't make it 18 hours without eating. I think, Dennis, what you're talking about is something hypothetical and extremely unlikely, that someone would go 7 days or 2 weeks or 21 or 30 days without eating, without being monitored. Absolutely. So that is why when you see on the YouTube some of these stories about people who don't eat for a month and they just take vitamins and minerals and they're monitored by the doctor, that's exactly why they are avoiding this refeeding syndrome. When you start to re-eat after a very prolonged fast or a very stressful period of fasting, so that you just don't feed them an ice cream cone and a steak after 3 weeks of no eating. Yeah, and that's true, and that can happen. It's extremely rare, though, but the doctor would be able to monitor the patient and their comorbidities, any risks that they have. Yeah. All right, so let's go over some of these questions here. And this is, are the optimal ranges for vitamin D the same for a 87-year-old woman, 80 to 120, or are they lower? My mom takes 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily. Her vitamin D is at 80 nanograms per milliliter. Her physician is very alarmed about her having vitamin D toxicity and told her to stop taking the vitamin D daily and go down to 2,000 international units once a week. What do you think? Thank you. Well, Tracy, I think 80 is a wonderful level, and I aim to get all my patients at it, including my 100-year-olds, my 90-year-olds, my 80-year-olds, my 70-year-olds, including myself. We have ranges anywhere from, I saw 14 today on a gentleman, his vitamin D, and I saw 150 yesterday, and they were all well managed by the patient. What you have to do is ask the question, what is vitamin D toxicity? What is vitamin D toxicity? Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and if there is too much, you start seeing liver enzymes go up. The liver enzymes start to climb, and if you do a routine comprehensive chemistry for the AST, the ALT, the LDH, SGOT, SGPT are the former names for that, GGTP. These all are indicators of something irritating the liver. It could be the D, it may not be, but that's what you look for. And so that's why I do a comprehensive chemistry every 6 months on my patients, because I have all my patients, including myself, anywhere between 5,000 to 20,000 international units a day. I've been doing this for at least at this location 23 years. And so we have not seen this vitamin D toxicity. I've only seen one case in my life of 43 years, and the patient was taking other items and doing other personal health care things that I think aggravated this. But I've seen it once in my lifetime. I've been using this on my patients for 23 years here, 40 plus years as a doctor. I've never seen it. Now, liver enzymes will go up. Calcium levels are also found on that comprehensive chemistry. And if I see calcium levels that are elevated, because that's what it will do, very elevated. I mean, minor elevations can be just normal physiological shiftings, and you just follow through. So a good doctor will just do a comprehensive chemistry to check your calcium, your liver enzymes, and watch your vitamin D level and find out if that's a good dose for you, because it'll help her bones, it'll help her immune system, it'll help her mood. And so I think 80 is wonderful, but I don't know your mother, and she may have some other unique comorbidities I don't know about, but just have her comprehensive chemistry checked for sure, and do that to see if it's normal. Then maybe wait 2-3 months and do it one more time. And if it's stable over 2 to 3 months on her 5,000 units a day, then don't worry about it. Just check it every 6 months. That's how I would handle a situation like that. John says, what is the reasoning for choosing NP thyroid versus levothyroxine? Are these medications a lifetime commitment? They're not necessarily a lifetime commitment. Sometimes we get into some low-grade thyroiditis, inflammation of the thyroid gland from viral illnesses. Sometimes, more often, we get it from food intolerances and gut inflammation that is associated with irritating our body, inflammation, and our thyroid. And then when it is irritated, typically you get hyperactive. And then when that comes down, sometimes it overcorrects and you get hypothyroid. So it might be helpful to use some natural thyroid. Now, levothyroxine is essentially T4, free T4. And free T4 is a precursor. Your body has to take that T4 and convert it into the active form of the free T3. And usually this is done in an okay fashion. But there's enough people out there that have difficulty with fatigue and constipation and hair loss and dry skin and so forth. So giving them a NP thyroid whole glandular that has T3, T4, T2 in it, these make it easier for their body to absorb and get the benefits. And that's the main reason why I use a whole glandular rather than an extract of just T4. And it depends on the patient, their situation, their diet, their lifestyle, as to whether it's going to be lifetime use or not. I would say more than often people tend to stay on it, but I often will try coming off of it with my patients. So there you go. Paul says, which is more effective at getting vitamin C to the tissues? A 50-gram vitamin C IV after EDTA chelation, or a 100-gram vitamin C IV? Well, I'm going to say the 100 just by mass action. I mean, the number of ascorbic acid molecules by mass action will penetrate much deeper. And I see you're informed by understanding EDTA will open up the microcirculation so that the C can dive in and penetrate better. But yeah, the 100 is better. Now, the question is, do you need it? So where do we get the money for doing research on whether it's a 50 or 100 or a 75 gram or any individuation in between? So you just wind up being stuck with old clinicians like myself who have seen this for decades and decades and decades, and just tend to see that there's a range of safe and effective areas, and that's usually how we come up with it. Now, it'd be wonderful to get financing for doing studies like this. We have thousands of patients. We could come out with studies left and right all the time if someone would help us, but we can't finance these studies ourselves. And that's the best answer I can give you, Paul. But I have seen tremendous decades and decades and decades and decades worth of tremendous health benefits from the 50-gram vitamin C. Bridget says, Dr. E, I'm 60 years old, good health with type AB blood. Is it safe to donate plasma? How often can I donate, and will it affect my immune system? How fast would I regenerate my plasma cells back? Thank you for all of this. Thank you for doing this all for us. Okay, I listen to you every week and have learned so much. Merry Christmas. God bless. Thank you, Brigitte. I'm not an expert on plasma donations, but what I remember is mostly from my military years, when we had all these military men and the Red Cross would come by for drives and, get the blood types and fill up the banks and plasma. So I'm dealing from memory mostly with healthy young men. I don't know that they're so healthy today. We're talking 40 years ago. But those men at that time were giving plasma about every 4 to 6 weeks. And it seemed to not affect their performance or anything. So that's my recollection. And that's perfectly what I think is probably in the realm of a doable situation. Of course, you have to drink your water, eat a good, rich, healthy protein diet, exercise, get a good night's sleep, those kind of things, and not have any bad illness that would be consuming your protein up. But that would be my best suggestion. Jessica says, I have heard a lot about Brown's gas for lung health. I have COPD. Are you able to comment on it? Thanks. Jessica, I think Brown's gas, because I get these right before I just got here back in the office. I ran home to get something to eat today. That is, I think, where you take oxygen and use electrodes to separate the hydrogen, and you get separate hydrogen ions and oxygen. And that then being inhaled, the hydrogen is a proton. Protons are usually very beneficial, whereas electrons tend to need to be discharged. You've heard of grounding, where you go step on the wet grass or go to the ocean, salty water, and you put your feet in the water for grounding, and you discharge your negative electrons there. Positive ions are even harder to get, and so hydrogen ion is a good general thing. It's a electron stabilizer, you might say. And so I believe Brown's gas is just this form of electrode production. People do this in their homes, I think. I don't recommend that, though, where they use these electrodes to separate the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Now, do I recommend it? I don't use it. I don't recommend it. Have I studied it enough to make that a definitive statement? No, I haven't. There's other things, lots of things you can do with COPD outside of trying to do some exotic exogenous inhalation of gases, whether it be these oxygen generators, hydrogen generators. But see a good functional medicine, and they can tell you about all the various things we can do. Debbie says, hi, Dr. Rita. Do you have any good natural oil moisturizer for the face? So I think I did that already over there. Terme says, what do you recommend for fibromyalgia? I watch my diet, avoid dairy and gluten, and items on my food sensitivity test. The flare-ups can get really bad at times. Is there anything to at least help with severe pain when there is really bad flare-ups? Thank you. I believe if you're doing all those good things, drinking your water, keeping your carbs low, taking systemic enzymes as anti-inflammatory, and I would do EDTA chelation therapy to improve microcirculation, because I believe fibromyalgia is basically short of, let's see, will I say it? I'll go ahead and say it. I think Fibromyalgia is like a precancerous situation in the sense that it's a mitochondrial disease. The mitochondria are not working efficiently to produce the energy for the cells. And so then the cells ache all over. The barometric pressure can change this. Pollens can change it. Your mood, your family situation, travel, not getting enough sleep, having some food contaminant, various things can upset the mitochondria. Therefore, if you do EDTA chelation and then follow it, like Paul was saying, with the vitamin C, 25 or 50 grams, or do oxygen therapy, ozone oxygenation. So we're killing off viruses if they're there, killing off probable parasites, fungi, and that's the direction I would aim for that. That's what I would tell you to do. Tremaine. Okay, Constance says, I am A positive blood and internet says I should avoid eat meat. Number one recommendation, don't get your information from the internet. And that includes me too. Find a doctor that is, you've looked to see what kind of volume of functional medicine knowledge they have. Because just you have to have someone personally committed to telling you the right thing and do a follow-up to see if these are working and they're safe. Just being on the internet and spitting things out, you can do that all day long. But I'm sitting here 43 years doing this now every day, seeing patients. And what am I finding? I'm finding that A-type blood people, all they need is digestive enzymes, and then they can enjoy their meat, their fish, their chicken, their turkey, their beef, all these wonderful things. She says, I take digestive enzymes and I feel that she does digest the organic beef better than salmon and chicken. Okay. Friends also tell me eating meat is highly acidic. This is all mythology. Your thoughts, please. So it's mythological to say eating this healthy stuff that we're made of is going to kill you being acidic. No. Maldigestion is what creates the problem. High carbohydrates, they are proven to be acidic. There's too much bias. There's too much politics in medicine. And so I think the people who are anti-beef, they're going to claim it's acidic, don't do it. And the people who are, there's just corruption everywhere. There are people saying go carnivore, and maybe they're just doing it for clicks and bait and making money on the internet. I don't make any money on this. I just do this as a service. But I'm telling you, you're made of meat and you're made of protein and fat, and you need these things. So please, Constance, work with someone who can talk with you personally, know your situation, do some unique testings of your body, and give you personal advice. Carol says, we are thinking about buying an electric car, but I'm concerned about electromagnetic frequency radiation. Can you advise? Thank you. Basically, I am not for electric cars because I'm aware of all the coal and oil that's needed for producing the batteries, and there's no net carbon saving with a electric car. It's a new technology, and then you think of all the children in slave countries that hide the slavery they do to these kids, picking out these rare earth molecules. It's a slave situation. The poor kids are abused. I don't like it. Now, as far as medically, I would not want my grandchildren sitting in the back seat of a car who has a big battery right behind them. No way. And then accidents with electric cars, there seems to be these massive explosions of these batteries, so that, yes, you could have a gasoline explosion, but to some degree, if they can use the fire extinguishers and the truck to get there, and for the most part, I think I'm just speaking in general, like any common person might notice, you don't see cars explode when they're hit because they work very hard to keep the gas and the impact and explosion separated. When we were flying on helicopters, when I was a flight surgeon, there was all kinds of science and research about where the gasoline was for the helicopter and the tubing and how to really decrease the explosion of air fuel on impact. And so, no, that is far less than what we're starting to see with these um, uh, accidents. I'm not talking about a little fender bender. I'm talking about a big rear end or a big front end collision with these electric cars, and these explosions are absolutely incredible. And God help you if you were unconscious, and then you were stuck in this incinerating car. So that's my thoughts on electromagnetic frequency radiation. No bueno. It's not good. Tiziana, hi Dr. Rita. She says, can you tell us what are the effects of short-term use of prednisone and what we should do afterwards to repair our system? Thank you. Tiziana, I don't think there's any big harm to a short-term use of prednisone. There's a prednisone pack. Usually you see these little 4 milligram capsules and you take them in this pack over a 4 or 5 day period of time. I just don't think there's enough concern about damage. Yes, they're immunosuppressive. And so if you have a weak immune system, you'd be at some kind of a risk, depending on your clinical situation. But for the average American, average adult, anyone, not just Americans, but most people in general who don't have any serious medical problems, I don't think it is a problem. And if you just get a good night's sleep and exercise and eat your protein and healthy fats and avoid the sugars, you will help. You could take DHEA, which is a precursor for your own cortisol, to help your adrenal glands with stress of a steroid supplement like prednisone. Yeah, but I think it's a small thing for the short burst of exposure. Penny says, hi, Dr. E. I'm Dr. Mitchell's patient. Last week, someone asked about relief for body rashes. I would like to share my positive experience with a homeopathic product by Boerick, Boericke, Boerick, and Travel called Florasome Cream, Florasome Cream. All right, I've used this when necessary over the past 20 years. It relieves discomfort from itching, eczema, rashes. Hope it helps. Well, I'm not familiar with that. I hope it does. I don't know what's in the homeopathic, but I did a second doctorate in integrative medicine and was taught about homeopathy for a few years. And I had all the books on it, and I was impressed with the results of it. So I'm in favor of homeopathy. I don't know this particular product by Boerick and Travel called Florasome Cream, but it's interesting. And the whole world's interesting to me. And so I'll just enjoy being alive and studying until the day I die, I guess. And we'll try and look that up a little bit. Thank you for the suggestion, Penny. Christine, good evening, Dr. Ellithorpe. What are your thoughts on hydrogen water? I've been seeing a lot of the benefits of it. What are your thoughts? Thank you and Merry Christmas. Well, yes, I'm in favor of hydrogen water. In fact, one of my colleagues, Robert Setinary, who is one of our science officers that helped us develop the doctor's bar, wrote a book. And what is the name of his book? What is it? All right, I found it. It's How Healthier, Better, and Longer Discover the Health and Giving Wonders of Hydrogen by Bob Setinary, Masters of Science. And so we have this book here. Oh, we have a bunch of them right here. Here it is. So I have them right here. Yes, and I help review the book. It's very good. So this hydrogen water. Now the one I use is a Zumi. That's the product that is promoted. I think has the most credible research on it. Izumi. I don't know exactly how it's ISZUMI. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I'm very much in favor of it. That extra proton is wonderful. All right, so we got all those. Time is almost up. Let's see, what do we have here? What did I miss or not miss? The last one. Okay. Guy says, hi, Dr. Rita. My mom is on dialysis right now for stage 5 kidney failure. Is there a better diet for her to be able to reverse it? She needs to be under the care of her specialist and discussion, because stage 5 is very serious. You need to find a good functional doctor, read what has been done, and look for the cause, and then work with a nephrologist together about maybe using EDTA chelation therapy, very low dose at first over a progression. Get some of the research on Dr. Lee. I can't get the article. I know what paper it's in, but you would have to, Guy, call the front office here at 714-544-1521. Ask for my nurse, Terry, and say you were on the YouTube. And what is the name and the paper publications? He's done many studies on chelation and end-stage kidney failure right now, even on dialysis patients. And so maybe we can get that paper to you. Dr. Jessica Wilson, hi. Hi, Dr. Rita. I'm a veterinarian, and in our field, we see refeeding syndrome often when starved, emaciated dogs and cats that are fed calories too rapidly upon intake to the shelter hospitals. Indeed, wonderful. They are often emaciated, starved to predispose them. We take precaution and start to provide calories at extremely small portions and build them up to the desired daily intake over several days. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. And, it's always impressed me. You have so many animals to study. I've always been under the impression veterinarians it's much harder to get into veterinarian school than it is medical school. So good for you. Kudos for you in refeeding syndrome. Yes. But once again, I think this doesn't, the concept of that is for the severe, nearly pre-death stage, so it almost throws them into such a physiologic shutdown that to coax them away from the door of death, you have to be very careful. So I think regarding that person's question about refeeding syndrome, this would frighten most people from ever doing any healthy intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting. And when we say prolonged here, we typically are talking about 48, 72 hours. I do a 5-day fast, but it took me years to build up to that. So that's how we do it. And I'm coming up to my next 5-day fast pretty soon, because I do it January 1st to the 5th to kind of clean up after any holiday treats I've had. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Glad to see you here. Welcome. Howard Spencer says, hi, Dr. Rita. And how would you treat psoriasis? Oh, that's a long answer. Basically, we believe it's a gut-related damage scenario that creates an autoimmune response that manifests in the skin. So I would see a good, healthy, functional medicine doctor who will start working on gut health and food elimination. And Harlow says, Merry Christmas. Well, God bless you, Harlow. Thank you so much for all your support. And then Deja, not sure what happened to my question asking for a male friend. His total testosterone is a low 250. Is having cognitive processing issues. Would bioidentical testosterone and EDTA help him? Absolutely. Now, I don't know him. There could be many other cofactors going on, but in general, most of our older men here, my husband including, is doing chelation on his testosterone. And he's, in his mid, going to his later 70s, and still working fabulously. So, and he works out all the time. He's in great shape. A great, you know, this whole place, this whole system is a team. It's not me. It's a team, and we do what we do because we all do our part, and every part's important. God is no respecter of persons. Everyone's helpful here, and there you have it. Yeah, it's a great idea. Harlow says, when do you see it necessary to use statins to lower cholesterol, and what is the best way to lower triglycerides? Lower triglycerides by fasting and a low carb diet and exercise. The right time for a statin, if there is a right time, is typically in the post myocardial infarction situation. So there are certain heart attacks that do show indication, but that's a long conversation. Um, do you recommend drinking hydrogenated water? Yes, I do, Harlow. Dolores says, Merry Christmas to your family. Thank you. Joanne Huddingen, no EV for me. No EV. What does that mean? Oh, um, ele- uh, electrical vehicle. There you go. And what do you know about Kagan water? Yes, I had it, and I do believe in it. It's just mine. Mine is. I let it go by the wayside. I have to bring it up to Torrance to get it fixed. Yeah, so I'm all in favor of it. And Tiziana says, "Merry Christmas. Know that you are appreciated, and I appreciate all the gift of God creating all you wonderful people. And may I always take good care of you." And Jenna says, Merry Christmas. Well, God bless. It's way over. My husband's waiting to walk me out. All right. Take care. Good night.